The land where fathers must die. Introduction. In the ancient Igbo land of Umwoka, tradition was law, and war was blood. It was a land shrouded in secrets and ruled by taboos older than memory. Among these, one law towered above the rest. No man shall wear the crown while the head that bore him still breathes. In Umwoka, it was forbidden for any man to become king if his father still lived. They believed that as long as a father's shadow walked the earth, the son remained under it, unworthy to lead. This law, passed down from the gods through the mouths of ancient priests, had never been broken, until Odi, and when he broke it, the land broke with him. Part 1. Odi was born to Nzi-Majibuchi, a respected elder and warrior in Umwoka. His father was loved by the people, honored in the shrine, and feared by enemies. But Odi was not content with being his son. He wanted more, not just praise, not just wealth, but the throne. When the last king, Igwobidia, died without an heir, the throne stood vacant. The elders declared a search for the next Igwu, and Odi was the people's favorite. Strong, brave, intelligent, he had it all. But his father was still alive, and so the gods remained silent. The priests of Oni warned him, as long as your father breathes, the throne is forbidden to you. Wait, Odi, the gods will choose you in due time. But Odi's heart was already consumed. Every time he looked at the empty throne, he saw his own face sitting upon it. One stormy night, Odi walked into his father's hut with poisoned palm wine. Nzi-Majibuchi smiled when he saw his son, not knowing that the wine he was handed would become his last drink. You came to share wine with your father, he said. May the gods bless you. Odi nodded, but his heart was heavy. That night, his father died in his sleep. The next morning, Odi cried louder than anyone else. He tore his clothes, rolled in dust, and mourned like a first son should. The villagers wept with him. The earth was quiet. The gods were silent. Or so it seemed. When the burial was done and the rituals were complete, Odi presented himself before the elders. He stood before the shrine of Oni and declared, I am ready. My path is clear. My father is no more. But as the chief priest opened his mouth to proclaim Odi king, the earth shook. The Ofo stick in his hand split in two. The palm tree behind the shrine withered instantly. A child in the gathering began to convulse and screamed, he killed his blood. The land rejects him. Fear gripped the crowd. The priest fell to his knees and cried, the gods have spoken. You, Odi, have defiled the land. You are cursed. Odi shouted, but I did it for the throne. And the voice of the gods thundered through the wind. You killed your root to climb. Now you will fall without a branch to hold. From that day, nothing Odi touched prospered. His farm dried. His goats began to bleed from their eyes. His servants fled. His name became an abomination. Even his mother, Ezin Yuju, spat on his shadow. He wandered to the shrine and begged for forgiveness. But the gods turned their faces away. Every night, he heard his father's voice in the wind. You broke me to rise. Now fall. His hair turned white before his time. He spoke to himself. He tore his royal robe and roamed the forest like a madman, seeking peace but finding only echoes of his own greed. He never became king. The elders crowned another, a boy named Obadike, whose father died naturally years ago. The gods accepted him. The land rejoiced. But Odi watched from the shadows, filthy and hollow, as the throne he killed for was given to another. After the public rejection at the shrine, Odi returned to his compound, but nothing felt the same. The birds no longer sang near his house. His once loyal servants no longer bowed. Even the goats avoided his presence as though they could smell the rot of his soul. He went to the river to cleanse himself. He knelt in the flowing water, calling upon the gods with trembling lips. O great chi of our land, forgive me. I did it for the throne. I did it for Umwoka. But the water gave no answer. The wind carried no whisper. The gods were silent. A week after the failed coronation, an old woman named Eziakwu, the village's oldest seer, called a secret gathering under the ancient Iroko tree. Her voice was weak, but her words struck like thunder. Odi's father, Nzimajiabuchi, was not meant to die yet. His death has torn a hole in the earth. She raised a small calabash filled with black sand. Blood was spilled against the time of the gods. Now the land bleeds slowly. Suddenly, one by one, villagers began to confess strange happenings, babies born with no cries, yams rotting in the barns, and warriors falling ill after victories. The land was rejecting all joy. One night, as the moon sat full above Mwoka, the villagers gathered at the square to discuss whether to banish Odi completely. Just as the meeting began, a cold wind swept through the land. The air became heavy, drums stopped, and then a man appeared. But not just any man. It was Nzimajiabuchi. He stood tall, glowing faintly, his eyes white like chalk. The crowd scattered in fear. Even the bravest elders fell to their knees. He pointed to Odi. You broke the law of the fathers. You spilled sacred blood for your selfish rise. And now you must walk the path of the wandering dead, neither here nor there. Odi cried out and ran toward him, but the spirit vanished into smoke. From that night, Odi could no longer sleep. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw his father, not angry, but weeping. The priests gathered to consult Oni, the earth goddess. After 7 days of fasting, they received a message carved in the sands at the shrine entrance. Let the one who spilled his father's blood be buried, alive under the roots of the sacred Iroko. Only then will the land breathe again. It was a sentence worse than death. Odi was captured while trying to flee toward the northern hills. He was bound, dragged back to the village square, and made to face the people. Do you have any last words? The high priest asked. Odi looked around. No one met his eyes, not even his mother. I wanted to be king, but I forgot that the throne can't carry a man whose hands drip with his own blood. Part 10, Buried under the Iroko. They dug the pit beneath the sacred Iroko tree. The sky turned grey. Birds circled above. Odi was lowered in, not with violence, but with sorrow. As the first shovel of red soil hit his chest, he began to chant his own funeral song, a soft melody filled with regret. And when the final soil covered his face, thunder cracked through the sky. The ground trembled slightly, then calmed. The next morning, a child was born in Mwoka. She cried loudly. The yams stopped rotting, and the river flowed clearer than ever. The land had accepted the sacrifice. Epilogue, a law that still stands. Till this day, in Mwoka, no man wears the crown if his father still breathes. A stone stands under the sacred Iroko with an inscription. Here lies Odi, who wanted the throne more than a father's love. Let no son walk this path again. And on every market day, mothers tell the tale. A king is not just crowned. A king is chosen by the gods, not by greed.